March 22, 2:14 p.m. District Court, Defendant's Lobby, No. 3. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian... No way. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews.
She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife that you used at dinner was, well, her.
So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time.
See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama.
Huh. Guess she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her?
Yeah, she's the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Carita.
But why? I thought she was buds with Juan.
She has her own agenda.
Her own agenda? What are you talking about?
I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be all right. I'll get you acquitted by the end of the day.
Give me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right?
Yeah. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impacts as her strength and reason to live. Then Miss Impacts suddenly killed herself. Sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person that thought to have hidden it
Is Juan Carita the victim of the murder?
And that's why I think Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Carita. All to get the suicide note back.
That sounds plausible, but one thing bothers me.
What's that?
Who was it that first told us about the relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impacts.
It was Edgeworth.
It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Whew. March 22.
Edgeworth cooking us from day one.
Yeah, he
I wonder if
pre-prepped
he
this
planned.
trial.
Yeah, I wonder if he planned the shooting of Francisca von Karma.
Yeah, who do you think got close enough to shoot her? District Court, Defendant's Lobby. Wait, nope, Courtroom, No. 3.
Do you think Francisca von Karma has ever tried to whip Edgeworth?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of think about that every time I go to this courtroom.
The court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please.
The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Carita's room.
Did I voice her, or did you?
I did.
Yeah, you did.
What is your occupation?
I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Angard.
I see. Now then.
Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request.
Yes, sure. What is it?
I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently.
No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. If Judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me.
Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim.
Yes, I was seeing Mr. Carita. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan, but this was a private matter between Juan and myself.
So it was a fry and bait matter. Or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing.
But I didn't kill him.
No one is accusing you of that.
I think there's someone who would beg to differ.
I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews.
Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place.
When I found the body, it was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Yes, sadly I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing.
And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match.
Yeah, I know.
In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid a head-on confrontation. You should disrupt her pacing.
Disrupt her pacing.
She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking, so you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand?
Alright. Let's see. Ooh, get out of here, mouse.
Yeah. Why was he sleeping? There was a 30-minute break.
What a sleeper.
And what was Mr. OnGuard doing at the time?
He was taking a nap.
Why?
He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony.
Mr. OnGuard did say that he was taking a nap. And I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room. Yes?
Excuse me? What are you...
Objection! Right, I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you.
Thank you! Thank you! One of my biggest pet peeves, possibly ever, is people trying to describe things and then saying, like, it. I'm like, I don't know what it is. Being like, yeah, we were just talking about it earlier, about that. You know, just like, okay, what thing? We just talked about... Anyway, continue.
Did you,
Thank you, Edgeworth.
Miss Andrews, remove Mr. OnGuard's knife from his room?
No.
Subject, object, verb, right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. Subject, verb, anyway. You know what I meant.
Didn't anyone teach you how to construct a sentence, Mr. Edgeworth?
Not did they, I?
Why'd you go to little Juaniwan's room?
And why'd you do that?
As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes.
So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Yeah, press that.
Yeah, let's press it, why not?
Is that the only reason?
I beg your pardon. What are you implying?
You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? Perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim?
Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at that time.
Can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess.
May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room?
What about his dead body? Why were you in shock? It doesn't make any sense.
You were in shock?
What was I not supposed to be?
Miss Andrews is a very calculating person. Despite how close they were, I doubt she would have had any romantic feelings for him.
Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you
Not
can't
me, I'm
seriously
built different.
expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked.
That's sexist. Somehow I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not.
I beg to differ.
I see. Exclusively physical appearance.
Okay.
Naturally. I don't like the way she said naturally.
Yeah,
there.
naturally. I think that's unnatural.
This is the photo you're referring to, correct?
Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest.
And the guitar case was like this too?
Yes, it was open and empty, of course.
And then what did you do next, witness?
Also, like, small nitpick thing, as somebody who's definitely... Like, can we look at the crime scene photo? Just to complain.
Okay.
One of the most, unreasonable things about all this, right?
Yeah?
Is like, this is definitely like that's not the crime scene photo.
Oh, I'm tripping. Wait.
That's not it either.
We got it. We're good.
There, yep.
Solved it.
Merry Christmas. Like, empty guitar cases are surprisingly top heavy. They never stay, when you open the lid all the way, they always want to fall over unless there's a guitar in them. There's a guitar in the case.
Yeah,
definitively a lot of them.
I agree.
That, especially hard cases like that. So And there's none of like the neck supports or anything in there to like put the weight on the bottom side of it. So if there's all this struggling going on, first off, none of the shards fell into the case. Sure, likely story. The stains running down the outside of the case. Sure, likely story. Also, it's perfectly upright after a struggle. Yeah, okay, buddy.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Hey, I'm with you. Are we on? Yeah. Alright, poured some juice.
Juice?
Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself.
You didn't drink any of it, did you?
Huh?
There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that you drank anything from it.
I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it.
Miss Andrews, I'd like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Carita, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct?
And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time.
Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you.
Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing.
What one thing?
Never mind. It's no big deal.
I don't believe you.
Yeah.
What was she starting to say just now? Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was.
Actually, so would I.
I'm sorry. It's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over.
What? That's kind of crazy. Oh my gosh, she's wearing very brightly colored pants. Flower
She
vase?
is.
Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This mess of glass shards?
It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case.
Why did you withhold such an important piece of information?
I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have revealed to your testimony.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. Okay, see now we can present the guitar case, right? Or the photo, right? There's some water, but only on the top of the lid, because she had to open it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
You testified that you knocked over the flower vase. Is this correct? Correct?
Correct!
Yes.
Oh, oui, oui, Miss Andrews. And you also fell onto the guitar case? Oh.
Is there some problem with what I said? Why are you speaking like that?
It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what was so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, then the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside.
Oh, I don't really like her pants though. I don't know.
Well, that's
very
very true. And your pants are nice. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what was that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what is wrong with that? Well, the guitar case was open when the vase fell. The glass shard should be inside it, not outside the case.
Objection! What is your point, right? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all?
No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say that she didn't touch the guitar case.
Objection, but this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all.
That may very well be. However, alright, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it? It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case?
Yeah.
Make her testify. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle.
Huh. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you.
I can't believe I'm doing this either. All right, I'll follow along for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor.
The guitar case.
The guitar case. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know.
Looks like this wasn't a very important point.
This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling right now that it's almost comforting.
Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination.
Using anyway to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man.
Guys never beat me in a case.
I would never segue into a different topic. I would simply start a new one.
Okay, hold on. We get the whole days thing.
Yeah, like...
I suppose I must have done that. This is probably worth pressing.
Yeah.
One of the best arguments you probably could have made would have been like, oh, well, I didn't want, like, the guitar to get wet and damaged or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw that it wasn't there, you know. But sure. So, you opened the guitar case then?
Yes, well, maybe.
Why did you open the guitar case?
Huh?
Mr. Kurita's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case.
Objection! As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed.
Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it.
Why would she care about the bright red guitar?
But getting back on topic,
I don't like this sentence.
I
Let's
really
press
don't
it.
like this. I feel like... Do we have, like, evidence against this?
Okay, my best bet is that she's looking for the suicide note, and that he would have just kept it on something that he always had on him, which would be the guitar case. But I don't think we have any
Wait,
evidence
it doesn't
of
have
that.
her fingerprints.
Oh,
Whoa, hold up.
never mind.
Hold up. Whoa. No.
Yeah, do that.
Whoa. Yeah, hold
Because
up.
she wouldn't have left fingerprints if she was wearing a costume, you know?
Yeah, what?
There is no way you were the one who opened the guitar case.
Why would you say that?
Well, it's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim.
Ah,
Oh, why would she lie such about weird things?
What if she burned
What
up
is
our
it, Miss Andrews?
you shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case.
What do you mean by that?
What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, seems that the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime.
It's a little weird. I don't know, it's a little weird.
Judge, that's a little strange. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange?
Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? Oh, we do, because the wine glass.
Yes, we do,
Yeah.
sir. I have your proof right here. This wine glass.
The wine glass?
You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice. Wouldn't you think it was a little strange? You know, that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Again.
What? Hold on.
She just broke her glasses in court.
She broke her glasses in court and pulled out a fresh new pair.
She's so prepared.
I'm impressed.
That's the kind of person who would wear gloves and also not wear gloves to a crime scene at the same time.
Does she have those in her, like, pants?
Order! Order! Order!
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time.
Huh? What do you mean?
I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here.
But it's just an empty case.
I wonder if it really was empty, though.
But the guitar, the bright red guitar was at the studio.
Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar.
You don't mean it was the bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either. I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact on the case.
Objection! Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided...
No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I am sure that this guitar case has some relation to the murder.
Objection! If you're so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claims, correct? Please enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder.
Well, can you do that, Mr. Wright? Let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. The bright guitar not being the only thing. You don't mean to suggest that a bright guitar was in there?
Objection! So you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty? Is that it, right?
I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove.
Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet.
Neither of you, Edgeworth.
Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder?
I don't fucking know.
Suicide note. That was...
Why would it be in the case, though?
Because Mr. Juan Carita found it, and he would want to keep it somewhere that it wouldn't just get found, maybe?
In the case? But, like, why would he take his guitar? Why would he bring that along specifically and not the guitar?
Well, we can't present the guitar.
Yeah, but, like, he would have had to take the guitar out and put the suicide note in the guitar case.
I mean, we're not saying... The suicide note is not the same size as the guitar. You know, like, they could fit in it together. It could just be one of those things that, like... Okay, can we go to profiles and look at Celeste impacts for a second? Right?
Yeah.
Juan Carita's... was Andrew's mentor and Juan Carita's manager. Killed herself 2 years ago. In theory, right? It went down that he did, in fact, find her body. And then, in theory, took the suicide note, right? Now, if he took the suicide note and didn't say anything about it, it must have had some important either reason or information that he didn't feel that was good enough, like, that shouldn't be released out into the public or shouldn't be known information, right? So, he's got this. Now, if that's something that's really important, let's say it's something that could blackmail him, like in a hypothetical, right? Then he probably doesn't want to let this letter get too far away from him. So what's something that he always has on him? His guitar. He may not have a house to leave it in, or, you know, doesn't trust the safety or security of, like, leaving it inside of his trailer. So the safest place is to keep it with you at all times. So what if he just put it, like, I don't know, in the lining or something around the case?
Well, like, but why take the guitar out then? Like, I was thinking that the guitar was taken out to put something else in, but I don't know what that other thing would be.
I mean, there's nothing that's that, like, big, I guess. But anyway, let's go back and look at the rest of the evidence. Yeah. That's my working theory.
You could probably fit Pearl in there.
Yeah, she was in there.
Okay,
so wait, the suicide report says, was her suicide note hidden?
Yeah.
I don't think it's important whether the guitar was or was not in there, because she could have, like, taken it out and moved it or something, or it was, like, in the guitar or something, and she took it and found the note in the guitar or something.
Yeah, okay.
Right,
yeah,
and then she just moved it later. But I think...
All right, we're
Wait,
shipping
this is the
it.
suicide. This is the suicide report, not the note.
We don't have the note.
Notably, yeah. Well, obviously, it's missing. So what was inside the? What was inside the report? I still don't think this is out of the question, but let's look at the rest of the evidence real quick. What's the other page?
Knife, probably not the knife.
Not Lotta's photo.
Probably not Lotta's photo.
Not the attorney's badge.
Not that.
Because it's important and we keep it on ourselves all the time.
That's true. The nickel samurai. I don't think we're putting the nickel samurai in there.
The nickel samurai was going to confess something, so that's not it. Maybe he was hiding to kill her.
Probably not.
No. No.
Yeah. Nope. Nope.
Was she hiding a guitar in the guitar case?
Damn. It was.
I think that our only presentable thing is the suicide report.
Let's do it.
And why would something like that be inside a guitar case, let alone this one?
Why, Mr. Wright?
L.
Why? Well, I just thought it might have been possible.
I have a suggestion. Why don't you put that in that void where your brain is supposed to be?
I just knocked several dice off my table.
Yes, and never bring it out again. Can't a foolishly foolish fool get some love?
True. You still think you can prove your theory? Can you prove that the guitar case was not empty at the time of the murder?
I wouldn't say something I don't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours.
Oh, shit. Okay. Let's go through it again.
No. No. Because again, the nickel samurai is confessing something, right?
No.
So it wasn't something that he was going to confess. No. What is this article? Okay, the article, can you check it again, just for funsies?
Yeah.
Mega love scandal, getting close to the mysterious. The other thing. No.
Not the juice, probably.
I mean, probably not the bottle of wine, no. Photo.
Why would she need to open it?
I mean,
No, but she didn't open it. Someone else opened it.
Yeah, I mean, Jamma Ninja's button. It couldn't have been there, right? Because she couldn't have... Okay, like, the only other thing would be, like, if he just intentionally left his guitar behind, right? And she brought, like, the guitar case, and she was using that to have a second costume in it.
Yeah, because Matt slept in his costume, right?
Yeah.
So, where'd the second costume come from?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
where did this come from?
Yeah. So would we present this photo, or would we present the button? No, it couldn't have been the button. The button wouldn't be there.
Yeah, it'd be the photo.
Yeah, let's do the photo.
Yeah. Ah, there we go. Okay,
This is a photograph. Yes. But what's important is what's in the photo, Your Honor. In this picture? It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... Inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume.
What? The whole Nickel Samurai? How do you fit in there? Is he ductile and
Mr.
malleable?
Wright! Yeah, it was Pearl the whole time. Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be in doing something like that?
That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. I mean, after all, you couldn't let anyone else see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews?
I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea?
Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Yeah, I mean, Judge, that's exactly what he was presenting.
Where was she hiding?
Order! Ordeer! We've wandered into another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix.
Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume.
Objection. Wait a second, Your Honor. The Necro Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Ongard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places?
True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was the Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case? Spare costume?
Yeah, it would have had to be a spare because he was wearing the existing one.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Ongard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we were talking about was a spare one.
What?
Then are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose.
What? Why would he do that? That's so weird. But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the Jammin' Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? And therein lies the stickening point. The sticking
Objection.
point. Okay.
What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue?
Huh? No, there's plenty of blue text over here. Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one?
Yes.
Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. I believe in you.
Okay, so here's what I think.
Okay.
We're being realistic, right? He didn't. I think it was Miss
Oh.
Andrews. What if she put it in there?
You took out the guitar? Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Like, because they're from the same, like, studio loosely, right?
No, they're from different studios.
Right, they're from different studios. But they found the guitar back at his studio.
Yes.
So, wait, Matt Kurita didn't know anything about the announcement ceremony.
Matt Kurita?
So he was gonna go.
Is that the ship name?
Yes.
Matt
Freaking
Ongard?
Matt Ongard didn't know anything about the announcement that was supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
So he was going to put on the costume and give the announcement being like, I'm actually a shitty ninja.
No, I think you're right, though.
It was a slander campaign.
Oh, shit. All right.
The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was press conference ticket.
Yeah.
What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show,
Wow. That's wild.
the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. A press conference? Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference.
I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right?
But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Ongard himself said he had no idea what he was supposed to be holding a press conference for. But how can that be? The way I see it is that can only mean one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Kurita himself. The victim? Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Kurita was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai.
Wow. Well, like, I can differentiate their voices. I don't know.
He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference. Bet you the judge can't differentiate their voices.
True.
But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I'm concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference.
The Necro Samurai was going to confess something. By confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal that something about himself.
Which means that Juan Kurita, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Ongard. Yes, I guess that it would mean...
He'd be like, I'm Matt Ongard, I'm a stupid poopy head. And then there'd be like,
ratings drop.
yeah, like ratings tanked, like screaming in the audience.
Outrage, outrage. There's like a small mob of people forming up at the time. The security has to like
Global
hold them all
Studios
off.
is like, is destroyed. Willpower's dead on the
A
streets.
gold bag is popping off of the audience, be like, I know it! I know it! There's a poopy head!
Ugh.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's a public disclosure.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
That seems like semantics. Miss Andrews?
I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Pardon me!
Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow, wait, she just came out and said it? Miss Andrews, please, offer us an explanation for this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him. That was also me.
You?
Soldier boy, tell him.
Shut up.
Juan had bet everything on the Jamma Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway.
He was going to ruin him. Ah!
It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What?
Yes, Matt was a poopy head.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. And do you know what the secret of Mr. OnGuards is, Mr. Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
Ah! I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. That's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all.
Protect Mr. OnGuard. And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand. Protecting Matt. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. He didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him.
What? How did she know about the button? Excuse me?
The fuck?
Excuse
this
me?
doesn't count for everything.
Well, I am the logical
I
type.
went to law school, presumably.
I don't think you did.
We're finally seeing her true self. She was more nervous
He's
than a
older
scared
than law
rabbit.
school. If the defense can find no fault with his testimony, I'm ready to make my ruling. Please keep in mind as you cross-examine, Mr. Wright. Looks how somehow everything is swung to the opposite end of the scale again. Just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down.
I think we press like all
Got
of
to
these,
give it my
honestly.
full Phoenix Gussie.
Had to feeling Matt was a murderer. Why?
Why would you say that your intuition was speaking to you?
Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things.
3 things?
A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear.
That woman's kind of hot.
What?
That was my Edgeworth. And like, damn, she knows.
You should have already known that, Phoenix.
They didn't teach us to that in school. It's not from what I remember.
Did Phoenix go to law school?
May I
He has an
continue now?
attorney badge. He got it in court, I
Hey,
think.
he found it. Yeah. He didn't know who the defendant was, trial 1. Why
Do
did
we
they have to kill
know,
him?
does she know what the, yeah.
Yeah, anything else?
So what would you say this need came from? Like the press conference?
Yes, do you know why Juan chose that event in that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt OnGuard.
And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews?
Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume.
But I'm sure Mr. OnGuard himself didn't know anything about the press conference.
Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference?
Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony. Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony, if you please.
grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright?
What's that fucking card?
Notice motive flaws, but I don't have any way to prove them right. I don't think we have anything for this. I'm gonna be real.
Let's come back.
Yeah, let's come back. Didn't have an alibi.
And he didn't have an alibi. But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. OnGuard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie so that you could cover for Mr. OnGuard?
I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time.
I keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Miss Andrews has said. I can't say the same for people here in this courtroom, however.
Damn.
Judge is glaring straight at Mia.
Yeah, what the fuck, Mia?
He's glaring at you, smart guy.
Get out of my head.
Yeah, how'd you know about this?
this.
I don't know. That seems a little weird.
You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage.
Then, what about the button?
The button?
It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, their killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
There's so many things with that sentence. Hold on.
Yeah, hold
It's
up.
clear from the fact that there was a fight, but the vase was perfectly fine. All the other stuff was on the floor, though. But this really top-heavy vase that you accidentally knocked over, like gently, that spilled on top of the guitar case afterwards, you know. They clearly fought, though, because everything else was off of the desk. Also, you know, this button. You're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Matt's hackum, isn't that correct? And we think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Irk. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright.
What the fuck?
Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please, fix your testimony.
I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Thank goodness Mia can still look at me.
With an icy stare, yes.
Get out of my head.
No, I'm a ghost.
Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony.
Okay, so this is one where we're just getting extra shit. No, wait, that can't be the case. Wait, because there's blood on it, and he was strangled to death.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
hold
no,
up.
that's spitting. You're spitting.
Yeah,
Spitting.
What the get that get that out of here.
This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf.
Strangulation?
The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume. When?
After the knife was stabbed into the victim.
Exactly. Which means it's impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body. Ooh, who would do such a thing?
Yeah, who has the strength to do that, honestly? I don't know.
Order!
Objection!
What is the meaning of this?
What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change?
Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve?
What purpose?
We now know that this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposefully rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with the button? What was it?
Yeah, we're pinning the crime.
Destroy evidence. There was only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. OnGuard. There is no way anyone would put a bloody button on their own pants. That's right. Mr. OnGuard was set up. By the real killer, of course.
But who is that?
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. I said spiky-haired guy, so smart. And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real murderer then? Finally. Can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point.
Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end.
The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. OnGuard, his real powers.
It would have to be Adrian Andrews. She's the only one with the opportunity.
I mean, it could have been Old Bag, you know, if you think about it. Because Adrian Andrews said that she could have very reasonably come in and seen a dead guy, right? Mm-hmm. I just to play devil's advocate, because it is 3 bars of our life essence, you know, if we're wrong, we do in fact die. Figured I'd specify. So it could potentially be like Old Bag. She could have gone in there, killed, left, right, and then she was out there. And
because whoever it was had to know about the spare costume, right? And
no, because she could have gone in there and then left with the spare costume anyway.
Who?
Just because she didn't want to get implicated. Adrian, yeah.
Oh.
She could have been like, oh, I don't want. Because she could have tried to pin it on Matt OnGuard, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you're theoretically
we're really
right.
stretching. We're really stretching.
Why would you put it on? Why the fuck would she put it on? And she had to bring the knife and get.
Well, so okay. So because if she, let's say she found a body and she's like, this would be really opportune to plan, like, you know, to blame OnGuard for, you know. So it's like she grabs a knife and then goes over there or something, you know, sneaky. Because her prints weren't on the knife, so she could have grabbed it in costume. But then she would have walked through the hallway mold. It's Adrian Andrews.
Yeah. Definitely. Just making sure we're on the same page.
Miss Adrian Andrews, I choose you. You are Mr. Karita's killer.
What?
Her glasses obliterated. I did not see that the first time.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Order, Mr. Wright. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews.
Well, how preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me.
I can't, can I? Would you care to test me?
Then what about this knife?
The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion on Mr. OnGuard, naturally. Even if he went over there and put it in the body himself, he wouldn't have been the one that stabbed the guy. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could have only been taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you.
Then what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama?
This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found the body or the killer. However, if Mr. OnGuard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such an incriminating piece of evidence in his own Hakama.
So many glasses.
That's like $400 in glasses, easily. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. OnGuard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him up from his nap, which is you yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? I mean, it could have only been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews.
No, I...
Objection! But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time.
Yeah, that's right! That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposefully left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it off, there's this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe that the Nickel Samurai is Mr. OnGuard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Give how tall people are. Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not?
Please stop.
Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? Got her this time. Miss Andrews!
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves. What?
Phoenix Wright's never read the law. Actually, no one's done it, though.
Pleading the fifth is not something most
Okay.
people would think to do on the spot.
Fair. That's actually true.
So the guy that wrote this game knows about pleading the fifth, but doesn't know how the court system works?
Yes. Absolutely.
Damn it. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Onguard's room.
Adrian Andrews. Who's echo.
Yes.
Did you echo because she's a ghost?
Yeah. Think about what we just discussed. Understood?
All right.
You must plead the fifth. We have this
That's
law in
it.
Deutschland.
That's when Franziska planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things looked bad.
You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there is still one thing you haven't done.
Something I haven't done?
I'm workshopping it, I'm sorry. What's wrong, right? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence?
Edgeworth has never laughed before.
Yeah, that's true.
Huh. What's so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm
I am
sure you
assuming that was
realize-
laughter.
Thank you. I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless.
What?
Everything you have proven is circumstantial.
Circumstantial.
Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to prove a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Karida.
Oh wow, that's a really good point.
Yeah, motive, that's right.
Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Miss Karita?
I believe this may lead me to incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt,
No.
don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There is nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
Oh, she's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do?
Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation.
Somebody who knows the law.
Yeah, I know, right? No one else knows law.
I
No one
think
knows
we have
evidence
reached a
rules.
certain conclusion at this point in time.
Phoenix has to get the book on evidence law. He needs those, like, 2 paragraphs.
Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify. And the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof. But that's not true. This situation, there is only one thing the court can do,
Guilty. Pfft.
and that is to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial... Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. We don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial.
What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? We'd kill him today if he was guilty.
Amen, brother. That's not it. It isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya.
Oh?
But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, the court is...
Objection. It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you?
It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation was something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there is one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice.
Yes, and?
Oh, improv, I see. I can't help but think about how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. That was good, that was good.
Classic.
So my actions were unusual, but I've already...
Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect.
Testify?
Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in the testimony should in no way implicate the witness. Maybe...
Oh, that makes a really good point.
I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know.
Bars. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. S'il vous plaît.
When I found the body, that glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was just sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind.
Ooh.
To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
Nothing sussy there. So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix,
We've said
please be
several
careful
times,
here.
it's not trivial. Just fucking tell the truth.
If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left.
I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Endless screaming.
I think I've spotted a contradiction. What about you, Michael? Did you spot a contradiction?
I spotted a contradiction.
Um,
Messy state,
um,
you know.
oh man.
Yeah. To be fair, I could definitely see walking into a room and not noticing the knife, but like the fact that all the other shit was knocked over on the floor,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, the bright
Maybe.
shiny knife with blood on it, and there's also shit all over the floor. 'cause-
To be fair, she also had to walk to the other side of him to put the glass down. If you think about it, she had to walk completely around the mess and around him to put the glass on the table.
It's true.
So, you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him?
No, not at all.
Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body? What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There is a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Kurita's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought he was a dead man.
Well, you see...
I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted. And then so nonchalantly go pour themselves something to drink. Your point is? Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie has been proven one thing very clearly. That you are the real killer.
No! Oh, that went on longer than I thought.
Looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt On Guard, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible. You're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt. I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan.
But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so is that you might end up incriminating yourself.
That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Okay, yeah.
Wow, sounds like somebody's guilty to me. Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt On Guard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last?
What's wrong, Phoenix?
Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. Now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt On Guard.
Objection! Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. Okay.
This guy, I want to go home.
Yeah.
The absolute real truth. What are you
Witness, don't you understand yet?
Uh-huh.
I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt On Guard will go free. And in his place, you will become the guilty party.
That's a lie. I don't believe you.
What?
I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over and Matt would never be declared guilty.
What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it?
I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Franziska von Karma.
Huh?
Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself.
Then right now, Miss Andrews is...
Yesterday, she was tossed in a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt On Guard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now and is clinging onto them.
Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That's my only priority.
It wasn't me. I'm begging you, but please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help. Please, someone, help me.
Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say?
Right, I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime.
Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except for the women crying over there, right?
Come now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
Oh, I almost mashed through that. Holy shit. Oh my god.
We're sure to testify.
Yeah, I guess let's
If she's
do that.
guilty, if she is guilty, then we still get our verdict.
That's true. That's true. All right, you're right.
I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you're really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. On Guard would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this Is this how you really want this trial to end?
Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me.
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear the defense's theory is the truth.
You're wrong.
What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this, however.
What is he, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls upon my shoulders to disclose this to the court.
Stop.
Mr. Edgeworth.
This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness.
What?
And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past.
Stop. Please stop.
No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here.
That's...
That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report.
What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews.
The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world.
But please stop. I beg you, if people find out... If people find out, I'll...
If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. What the fuck?
Edgeworth, how can you be so cold?
You kill yourself now. However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips. No matter what I have to do.
You really learned what it means to be a prosecutor.
So, will you tell the court yourself or shall I? Either is fine with me.
I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. My crime. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honest. When I realized he was dead, that's when I formulated my plan. I made sure there was no one in the hallway. I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returned to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume.
Told you! Stab the body? With the knife? But why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious to pin the blame on a certain person? A certain cowardly man?
Oh, what do you mean by all of this?
It might take this court a little while to understand, but... This is the truth.
The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time.
Last time?
So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Crida, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with the murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt Engard for the murder. And this is her crime. That's
wow,
a pretty bad
freaking wild turn of a... What? How is this possible? I mean, was Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and pour some juice and commence the cross-examination.
All right. Let's press all these, I guess.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, this is easy to do. Like, real talk, if you've ever walked past a homeless person and you, like, don't know if they're asleep or not, you know?
Yep.
Like, if you're not paying attention to something, it's easy to miss it, right?
Yep, I'm with you.
But, like, get all the way to the point where she's pouring juice without noticing he's dead. That's a problem, probably. But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead?
He had a scarf tied around his neck. That scarf is a part of the Jammin' Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it. It was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. And that's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice. When I realized he was dead. Alright, let's see.
What is this plan that you had?
I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt.
So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button.
The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife.
Yeah, let's make sure there was no one in the hallway. Let's go back to the room. Sense.
That was so you could get the knife, correct?
The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime.
Stabbed him with the knife. Sure.
Was she wearing gloves? Probably. So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife.
It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I use the button somehow, I can make Matt look even more suspect.
So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Unguard's Hakama.
Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they?
Finished. Convenience. Lotta.
An inconvenience?
There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway.
I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta.
There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth.
That's Miss Holdback for you.
Yeah, I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again.
Wait, the costume?
You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you?
Yes, I took it from the Global Studios, and I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the awards ceremony.
You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct?
Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there.
What is his secret?
That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume.
I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Ongod's room and planted the button.
To Matt's Hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
My word! What does all of this mean?
Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Ongard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk.
Francisco, huh?
She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor. The defense
Objection.
still...
Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning.
Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
That was a fucking death rattle. I don't like this image. It feels wrong.
Useful image, probably. That's me. Hey, today's trial, it's over. It didn't win an acquittal.
Witness, would you mind if I ask you something?
Edgeworth?
Well, what is it?
Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. That card in your hand, it's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it?
Oh, Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day.
Room?
That day?
Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him.
Found that card? Next to the victim's body?
I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right?
Yeah, I guess not, but it's still a strange card if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why.
Hold it! Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry!
Edgeworth!
Do you have any idea what you stupidly yet inadvertently done? I can't believe you hid this from me all this time!
I didn't mean to... Well, what is this all about?
I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. Card? What in the world is it? And what does it mean?
Who knows?
Be continued.
We'll find out next time.
All right, chat members. Welcome today to the sultry calm tones of your MC for the night, TJ Magic Mike. Normally I'd prepare a nice show of, cool piano tones and some house jazz, but seeing as how my piano is on the other side of the room and I'm not there, the best I've got is this story. I've been taking my vitamins recently. It's recommended by doctors, parents, and the Flintstones. Sponsor of today's segment, Flintstones Yummy Vitamins. They give you everything that you need to yabba dabba do, or yabba dabba don't. It's up to you. But just know that whatever you've got going on, Fred Flintstone is there for you. Nano-shaped gummies, full of all the vitamin A, B, C, D, and K that you'll ever need. Got all the B's. B1, B12, be free to be a Flintstone today with Flintstones gummies. Just one a day in the morning. That's all you need to supplement all the stuff that you're going to need to do during the day. Every meal you eat, every breath you take, Fred Flintstone will be watching out for you. Dabba dabba doo! Doop doop ba-doom ba-doom. And we're back. Thank you for listening into our short commercial break. And thank you, sponsored Michael. In breaking news, that trial was long.